Okay, today I'm gonna do a real quick installation of they call them parking heaters, diesel gas parking heaters. And this is a Chinese version. And I'm gonna be installing it in my RV today. Not gonna go through a lot of the unpacking the box and doing all that. People have got that out there all over. I'm just gonna show you the way I went about getting ready to install it. I couldn't decide where to go. This is a Montana 40 foot, and it really just wasn't a good place that I liked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here. This is one of my slides, and I'm going to mount it in the floor inside my RV in this slide. And you can see I've already started, so I have the hole located. And like I said, I'm not going to uncrate it and go through all the inventory with you, but I will go in and kind of show you where I'm headed with this. I'm just getting ready to put it all together. I've done all the prep work, and I followed the instructions, and this is the instruction manual that comes with it. And as you can see, it's the air heater. This is the anyway, the manual. It's crossed over from Chinese, so kind of one big long sentence, but it's essentially the unit. This is what it looks like out of the box. Sitting here on the floor, getting ready to go in. You got the air intake on that side. The hot air comes out that side. On the bottom, you have the exhaust port, the combustion air intake, and fuel line. So pretty simple. Like I said, it's just a matter of space and where you want to put it, and how much ductwork you wanted to run. Came in the box. It also came in with all these parts and accessories. I say I'm not going to inventory them for you, but what I've done is I have a fireplace here. That's a electric fireplace, and there's plenty of room behind it for this heater, so I decided to pop it in back here. This is the mounting plate for it right here. That comes with it. Like I said, this is a hole I showed you from outside. It's all ready to go. I'm just getting ready to put it together, and then I'll fire it up. And I'm lucky here, I got electrical close by, and runs on 12 volt DC power. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I'm gonna go ahead and get it set in there in place and start hooking things up, and I'll follow along and see how this turns out. Hole cut, I mounted it up with some fiber board, a bunch of silicone and stuff in there, and mounted the plate. And so right now I'm gonna get to installing this. They send the wiring harness. You got a connection for a fuel pump. You've got the main connection that goes to the heater itself, and then you have your thermostat heater, which is this one, and red wire goes to 12 volt hot, and you have a little short ground wire here, goes to 12 volt minus. And so luckily I do have 12 volts that comes right through here. I have gonna mount the thermostat just up here above the TV by that cabinet, so plenty of room. A big thing I wanted to show first though is why they have this little cutout in the back. Is you want to make sure that your fuel pump, mine's going to be outside, make sure it goes down that hole, and I got a cut on the back so it can slide right down in there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mount this guy in, and we'll see how it goes. That fuel line there is it's a little bit down, so it's kind of tricky to get it to set right on there. You got to get it at an angle, and anyway, I'll come right back as soon as I get it set in there. Okay, so that took all of about 10 seconds to do. So anyway, there's the unit sitting back in its hole. There's the wire going down. That's the wire we don't need right there. We get him out of the way. So we're got our wire out for a fuel pump, and I just got to go outside and put the nuts on that's going to hold the heater to the base mounting plate, and put on the ductwork out there. All right, so here we are outside, and this is the slide I'm putting it in the back corner of my Montana here. So when I come down here, when I drilled that hole, I put it in first, and this is where the slide's going to slide right up against this when it goes in. So this is going to be really, really smooth. And when I first put it in, I stuck down just about a millimeter on the air intake and exhaust, and quite a bit more on the gas. So that's what I did with the MDF in there. I shimmed it up a little bit. So as you can see, we're not going to hit when we slide in there. I made sure of that. So essentially what we got here, we got the fresh air comes in here to the combustion chamber, fuel line, and exhaust. And this is the cord. I fed that through already. That's for the fuel pump. Fuel pump's just going to hang out down here. We're going to probably stay in one place for about the next 4 or 5 months. So I'm just going to set up things under here, and then if it comes time to move, I figure I pop this off, I'll tuck it up in there and put my slide in, and we should be good to go. Take the hoses off, and it's 2 big hoses, a little fuel hose, and stuff the wire up in there, and down the road we go. So I got to get the nuts on there, and anyway, start going to that point. I'll update along as I go. It's pretty easy. That's a 10mm socket. Might want to use a deep well. Make sure you have a deep well available. Mine, I did not have a deep well, so I had to shorten it up on the extension a little bit. But it was enough to get it tight. So screwed down. Now air intake. Okay, and just like that, we have our fresh air line. It's got its filter down here to keep things from getting up in there, and got the hose clamp tightened up there. It's kind of up in the hole. Not going to get a screwdriver in there, but I went to the Chapman, not endorsed by Chapman, but everybody ought to have one. Little angle tool, short bit. Yeah, everybody ought to have one. Anyway, if you don't have one, that's going to be tough. So, all right, now the exhaust. All right, so exhaust line's now on. See, everything's up there kind of tight. That was a fun one to get into too, but again, got to go to Chapman. It's got a little adapter to let you hook your 10mm right on there. Got right up in there, got her good and tight. Clearances look pretty darn good. I think I'm gonna be happy with it, see how it goes anyway. So anyway, I got to get the rest of it hooked up. I got to get there's a muffler that comes with this. I'm going to put it on, and yeah, we'll be back here in a minute and go from there. Here I am back. Fuel line time. Went and got my fuel tank. I set it up here. I propped it up with some blocks, just temporary. I'll be making a more permanent thing for it. It's a good place for it. There's one of my tank dumps. So it's right below it. We're getting a skirt put on. I'll have a easy access here. That's gonna work out pretty good. The hoses, looks like we got the fuel filter here. Gonna go down to the fuel pump, and this is the fuel pickup. This they have made so that you can put a hole in the bottom of the tank on the back, screw it in, and anyway, right now I'm just gonna go down through the top of the lid just to temporarily put it in, see if that's how I like it. That's what I want. Probably mount the fuel pump right about in here, run the line over and around, and I'm gonna come up and it hooks right into that. I put a black piece of pipe that they include that will go right there. The fuel line will get on it. I'll tie wrap it over and it'll be set. So that's the plan of work, and I'll come back later and show you how it turns out. Stuck this down in the hole for now. I'm gonna I haven't decided what to do with this yet. So this is temporary. I'll put a Ziploc bag or something over it so that nothing crawls in there tonight. But anyway, pickups in there, fuel filter. Over here the fuel pump, and over here we got the air intake, and we got the little muffler on. It's gonna fall off as soon as I start. I'll secure it up a little better and put a different pipe on it so it goes out further out the back. So anyway, yeah, there we are. So we're all hooked up out here, got our power hooked up to our fuel pump. Now it's just a matter of finish up on the inside and firing up and seeing if she'll run. Alright, so here we are back inside, and I just hooked up the electrical. Essentially we had the, it's getting a little dark, that's what I was afraid of. I got my winterization on. Anyway, that's the main connector to the heater. We run up, I had some DC, gotta love DC, man, just make a DC splice. I got a flashlight that doesn't work too, so try to get that working. Anyway, I made a splice there, hot ground, 20 amp fuse. Got my wire running out. This one here runs down to the fuel pump, and I got another one runs up here. I haven't mounted this yet, but this is going to be my LCD display. I haven't started anything up yet, but I got power. Things look good, and then now it's gonna give her a try. I'm gonna consult the owner's manual once again and fire it up, see what we got. Alright, so I was trying to prime up the fuel line, but it didn't work, so I ended up just turning it on, and may take several times of doing that, but I just heard the pump that was clicking, but it stopped. I can hear the unit still running in the house. Can you hear that? Nothing coming out of the exhaust. And we got a long ways to go before we start filling up with fuel. So anyway, I better go in and check the LCD and see what's going on. There's a prime mode for it, but I missed it, so let me go try it again. Back in a minute. Alright, back outside, got her figured out. Had to combine two of the instructions into one and then it would work. So I've actually got some diesel fuel up here to the filter, done it through one prime. And right now it's in the second prime, but you can hear this little guy click, 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 click. So the filter's about full, and then we're going to start sending fuel through the pump. And like I said, it's getting dark out here. I wanted to do this in the daylight. I may have to divert and finish this in the morning. We'll see. Might get it fired and get it going. Oh, it's starting to come out of the filter now. I see a little bit. I don't know if this is going to pick it up or not. It looks like it's trying to get along. So anyway, probably going to take at least one or probably two more primes before we're getting fuel up where we need to. So we will be back. Oh, here it comes right now. You can see it. It's coming along there. It's right about getting ready to go into this bar coming through. That's good. I was worried about that pump getting dry. It came with a little bit of fuel in it, just to prime and get it started. Good thing is it's all going the right dang direction, so it looks like we're coming out now. Really hard to see. Oh, this thing is just not going to pick it up. Anyway. Okay, so we got fuel up into it. Got it turned on. Sounds pretty quiet right now as it starts. Here's the LCD. See, it's quite good display, I guess. A lot of lights flashing, fan turning. It's not making any rubbing noises. Fuel pump, it's on. So we'll wait, see if we can get some combustion. We'll see what happens here. A little bit of air coming. I think it turns on really slow. There's the pump. You got it hooked to the light. When the pump goes at pulls a little power and it's cranking up a little bit. And I'll cut back here if something interesting happens. Okay, so here I am back. Got dark on me last night, ran into some issues. So what I've done, and I guess a lesson to be learned on this guy is, this is the 8 kilowatt, and it does draw, I'm not sure current, probably at least 10 amps of current, and it will drop your voltage pretty good. So I had wired it in directly. This red wire goes to your 12 volts. And I had a 12 volt circuit coming through my lighting circuit and stuff for the back part of my trailer. I thought I'd be clever and hook into that. But what I found is when this thing kicked on, it would pull down to about 9 volts. And then it would kick off, giving me an E-01, which is an underpower. And what I think, I haven't dove into what my circuitry is in this trailer, but I believe that there's some kind of a voltage controllers or something that's going to this. Anyway, so I decided to get a power supply to just feed it, but I ordered one, but I was messing around today and I actually ran this wire 40 feet up to the front of my rig, and I actually hooked it to my bus bar coming out of my batteries. I have 2 6-volt marine batteries, and in doing that I fired it up and I monitored the voltage, and the voltage did drop to about 10.2 volts, but it did fire up. I didn't get the air. It fired up and started. Got a little bit of residual smoke in the house from just the machine oil and stuff burning off the first run, but no, I fired it up. I figured up the little controller here, and got that all figured out. I may do just a video on that later if somebody's interested. There's some out there that tell you how to do that, so I may skip it. But anyway, so I'm wired up to my battery and hooked the duct worked up, and gonna get ready to put the vent right here. It's gonna go on there, and it's gonna go right through my fireplace here. I turned this on today. It's a pretty nice day. Colorado. It's supposed to be 30 degrees tomorrow, and today we're about 65. Inside of my rig was 70 degrees. I turned this on just its power up cycle, ran it a total of about 5 minutes, and shut it down, and went to 81 degrees in 5 minutes. So anyway, I'll probably do a follow-up on what I think of it, but as far as it's in, I'm just gonna do some tie wrap, make it look good, and maybe when I get it all faced up and everything, I'll shoot one more. Put a little reflective foam on there. That tube got a little hot. It's kind of by the carpet and the wall, and it's actually going to be mounted up about this high, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. But anyway, that's where we're at. So I'm pretty impressed with this guy so far. A lot of good reviews on it. We'll see how it goes. So good luck. Alright, here we are back. I got it all assembled. I put the fake fireplace back in, and I put the fake rock back on, and I cut that hole. That's the exhaust for that heater, so it's all hidden up here to the control panel for it. Pretty basic. Other people go over the main function. The biggest function is the on and off right here. Let's give that a kick. There's a prime you got to go through to get all the diesel fuel up to it, and again, there's other videos that show that. But you can hear it starts. It's pretty quiet right now. It's going to go into the it's going to start priming it up. I've got it hooked to my 12 volt batteries right now, and it seems to be working fine. I did purchase a AC to DC converter just in case, but I haven't been able to or haven't needed to even try that. So anyway, there's just a little bit of air coming out of there. and it's gonna get cranking here in just a second. I got a piece of paper. Okay, so here's when it's starting. It's just running real slow. It's still getting ready to fire up. My fuel pump is kicking. You can see the lights there, the fuel pump, the igniter's on, fan. Everything's looking pretty good. I haven't played too much with it yet. I do see a little flicker in my 12-volt lights when it's cranking up. It does pull down to about, pulls my batteries down to about 9.8 to 10 volts. But once it gets started, it goes right back up and hardly draws any current at all. And as you can see, this is it's wiggling around. There's a little bit of air coming. When it fires up, though, it kicks the air out, and it is hot. Go ahead and capture this. It's starting to get warm, so you can hear it cranking up. There she is, full bore. There's no doubt about the air it puts out. So that'll run. I've been running it about 30 minutes. It'll bring up the inside temperature of my fifth wheel here to 3 or 4 degrees pretty quickly, and then kind of just maintains and holds it. We've ran it now for, I'd say, maybe 2 to 3 hours a day for about the last 3 weeks, and we've burned about 3 gallons of diesel for us all. So all in all, very happy. I couldn't be more pleased. Wife is angled actually right at her chair, so we're all good. That's how it's done. You see now this is operating. Fans on. Igniter's turned off. It was that one right in the middle. Pump's still going. There's all kinds of features and stuff with this that you can play with. And there's more on that. So anyway, good luck. Another project complete.